Hello, and welcome to this video presentation. My name is Paul Brett. I'm a Senior Software Support Analyst supporting the Transformation Extender product from IBM. The topic for this video is Tips for dealing with multiple ITX versions. Feel free to reach out to me on popular social media channels at Paul Brett IBM. This is a two-part demonstration. Part 1 will be on Windows. Firstly, I will show you how to organise your Windows Start menu so that you can easily pick out the right Design Studio to start. Secondly, I will show you a tip to be able to amend the path easily so that you can start the right version of Command Server in your command prompt. Finally, get to know the name of the executables. For example, ExtenderStudio, Command Server, Database Interface Designer, and the Integration Flow Designer. In the second part, we'll move on to Linux. These tips can also apply to other Unix installations, such as AIX. In short, I recommend that you start a new shell before running the setup script, and always run one version per connection or terminal session. Let's start with dealing with Start menu issues. If I click the Start button and type in Design, you will notice that I get several Design Studio options pop up, and I've got no idea which version is which. This simple trick will help. If we right-click one of them and choose Open File Location, this has taken me to my IBM WebSphere Transformation Extender 9.0.0 directory. If I rename this shortcut to Design Studio 9.0.0.5, it's going to be easier to identify it in the Start menu. If I come back 2 steps and then into the next version, version 10, edit this shortcut to 10.0.0.0, come back 2 steps, go into 10.03, and I happen to know this is 10.031, so that's what I'm going to put, 10.031, into my 10.1.0 installation, into Design Studio, and add on 10.1.0.2, into my 10.1.1 installation, finally into my 10.1.2 installation, which is base build because there are no service packs at the time of this video creation. Now that those are all done, if I click on my Start button now and type in Design, all of the Design Studio options that pop up have a number after them, and so I know exactly which version I'm starting. In addition to this, I can actually scroll through my menu, find the versions individually, and right-click and pin them to the Start button, one after the other. Move them around for visual appeal, and build up a complete list of all the different Design Studio versions that I want, so that I can easily click the Start button and just point and click to the one that I want, no fuss. So now when I want to start Design Studio, I can either click the Start button and pick one from my little list here, or I can type in Design and pick it from the list that comes up here. You can do the same for the Database Interface Designer and the Integration Flow Designer tools, as well as all the other tools, but those are the 3 main ones that I would normally do. Moving on to my next tip. When I open a command prompt and I want to run a specific command server, it's currently not in the path. Normally I would have to type in a command to edit the path variable. That can be a bit cumbersome, and so instead I have a batch file that will do this for me. The batch file is called p2p, prepend to path, and basically it checks to see whether I've added on a value to the end of the call, and if there has been, it prepends it to the front of the path variable. So I can call this batch file with p2p and just my ITX installation version that I want to use, and the next time I run Command Server I know that it's bringing up the exact version that I want, 900 build 15, i.e. Service Pack 5 in this case. From this command window I can also start the ExtenderStudio. Who wants to type out the word ExtenderStudio every single time? Better to go into the directory themselves, create a shortcut called ES, which does a push D to ensure that the current directory that you're in is saved, then it starts the ExtenderStudio and then does a pop-d to return to the directory you came from. So if I want to run ExtenderStudio, I just hit ES. The design server of the version that I have used in my previous P2P command will be started. In this case, again, 9.0.0.5. I hope you've enjoyed these tips for working with multiple versions of ITX installed on your Windows PC. Here we are on my Linux box, and if we change to the opt IBM directory, you will see that I have several versions installed. Now before I run the setup script for any of these versions, I'm going to start a subshell so that I can back out at any time I want to. So here I have ITX 10.1.1.1 set up, and if I suddenly decide I need to run ITX 9, I can type in exit. I'm back to the IBM directory and I have no ITX version at all in my environment. I can then run another subshell and run the ITX 9 setup. Here's another tip. If you need to do lots of testing with two different versions, why don't you have two different shells? Let's move this to one side, duplicate the shell. In the second shell, I'm going to run the bash script again, run the setup script for 10.1.2, and now I can run my maps from this window to check it works with 9, and then run my map from this window to check it works with 10.1.2. And there we go. In the left window, I've run a gather env.mmc map with version 9005, and in the right window, I've run exactly the same map with version 10.1.2.0. Now obviously this map needs to be compiled in the lowest version that you want to use, so this map is compiled for version 9, so it runs in both versions. I want to thank you for watching my video presentation today. If you found the content interesting and informative, hit that like button. Perhaps leave me a comment. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, as I release content such as this on a regular basis. Feel free to reach out to me on popular social media channels at Paul Brett IBM. Thank you.